water's all slippery. Hold on. There it is. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Happy end of football season. Sad end of football season.
Yeah.
Football end of football season. Double beers. We got a lot to talk about. All right, so we're recording this. No puns allowed. Paige and Adam. We're recording this. I don't know. The game ended like not that long ago.
It ended maybe an hour and 15
Change.
minutes ago.
So we have no agenda. We have beers and we have emotions. And
Emotions are running high.
emotions are running high. That was a colossal ass kicking. It's an ass kicking so grand, I can't quite yet appreciate what an ass kicking it was.
Yeah,
But-
it almost like I don't. It doesn't like take away from like how like exciting of a season that Georgia had, but it almost was like a bum ending. And like I think what it is more that like we spent all of this time talking about all of this different stuff in all of these scenarios, and it ended up just being the same thing that we sort of like all a little bit expected, but convinced ourselves otherwise. But I mean, at this point in time, Georgia, you can start the dynasty conversation now. And I think one of the things I was thinking about when we were at the game was like, just because Georgia's dynasty is like here doesn't mean that like Alabama's has ended.
No, this adds some tremendous juice.
Yes, it just makes it more exciting. It's like Clash of the Titans.
There's a clip going around that you showed me at the game that David Pollock basically telling Nick Saban like, y'all, they got your trophy, paraphrasing, and Nick does not look very pleased with it, nor would you expect him to be pleased. So I actually think this is tremendous fuel to the fire. I want to talk about the game. The other, but I also, the other thing, we have to talk about our walk to the bus. That was pretty funny. But the other like resounding thing that I'm reading about right now is Georgia playing the, everyone doubted us card. Like, have you seen any of this? Like Kirby was like, everybody doubted us in the post game.
No, I saw a lot of people were saying that like, well, I saw that he was saying that people doubt Stetson at the NFL level, which that's
no, but Kirby, I guess in the major post game said, everybody doubted us, and people are like making fun of Georgia for that. And I guess maybe so, but like, I didn't think Georgia would beat Alabama this year. They didn't play.
You mean be better than them? Yeah.
I didn't think Georgia would validate it at all. Like, at all. So like, I actually doubt it is relative, right? We didn't doubt you the way we doubted like Iowa State.
Yeah.
But we did say like, prove it. And it's pretty insane what they did prove. Well, like, it really is.
Here's the thing that like, I think Georgia fans and Kirby need to understand. Not understand, but this is just part of it. Is like, the bar has been set so high by Nick Saban in Alabama that like you're going to have to keep proving it. Like that's the standard, so you're going to have to keep proving it. The first one was win your first one in 40 years with the talent and all of that stuff that you got all the pieces. Why haven't you won one? Then they won one. It's like, okay, they won one.
Yeah.
Kirby's vindicated. Georgia fans finally get their national championship. They're better than Bama.
Yeah.
At least for a season. Then now it's okay if you want to be like Bama, go back to back. Do this over a course of the next thing is going to be do this over the course of 10 years. 20 years.
Well, and they're equipped to do it. I mean,
they are certainly, and that's I think the standard.
Oh
now.
Yeah, no, yeah,
and that's just it's kind of a bummer because I'm sure when Alabama was doing it, it was like, wow, we've never seen this before, and it's like super exciting. By the way, airplanes flying over us because we're right by the airport. I don't know if you can hear them.
Why don't I hear that on mine?
I don't know.
I hear it on
it
yours.
is loud on my end. But
now I hear it.
But I think for Alabama, it was like, okay, this is something that's never been done before. And it just kept happening. For Georgia, it's like, oh, we've seen this with Alabama. The expectation is Alabama. The bar is Alabama. Now, do I think they've caught them and proven that and are maybe, and are certainly, actually not maybe, certainly steps ahead? Do I think that that's going to last for very long? No. But who knows? They do have the pieces. And like, look, I said to you on the bus ride, I was like, I'm going to have to apologize because you know what? I need to give Stetson Bennett credit. When it comes to national championships, bro has like the game of his life.
He played his ass off. He
played his absolute
ass off.
Yeah, wow. He did. He had a phenomenal game. Georgia dominated. You were right, by the way. I also don't say that very often. Adam, you were right. It was murder ball. Although the over did hit. So technically we each won that.
Georgia hit the total by themselves, right? So like no, but Bennett, I saw another stat. He's played in 4 championship games and playoff games combined. He has been the MVP in all 4. He was 18 of 25 for 304 yards, 4 touchdowns passing. He also had a 39 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. I didn't actually know he had 6 touchdowns. There was a point in this game, frankly, where I stopped fucking caring. If I'm going to be completely honest.
The best was when we're sitting in the press box and they announce stuff like over the loudspeaker, like if there's records broken. And Georgia just kept breaking every college football playoff record there possibly was. First, the most points for our first half. Then I think it was actually most points for our first quarter, first half, and then for a full game now. It was wild and it was kind of like a weird experience.
It is, yeah.
But I'm still like kind of in shock that they won. So maybe Kirby was right because maybe people did doubt them. I kind of doubted that it was going to be like that. I really thought that TCU was going to put up a fight after seeing what they did against Michigan. And again, another thing that I was wrong about, there is a big difference between Michigan and Georgia. It's light years different. A weird part though, we both made comments about how like Georgia seemed very, very like light pregame. They were all energetic. They were all talking. They were all fine. You get over to like the TCU side and it was like tense.
It was
tense. And we said that. And so that game, it kind of made sense with the mentality and the status of that. But yeah, what a weird way to end the season with a blowout, especially after those semifinals. I thought, wow, this is great. But yeah, no, I mean, congrats to Georgia though, because I mean, heck of a game. Congrats to TCU. You know what they had? They deserve. That's the other thing. They deserve to be in that game. They proved that they deserve to be in the college football national championship. And just because they lost by a bajillion just means that Georgia's that good, you guys. It doesn't mean that TCU. And also, like, I don't know, after watching that Georgia team, I don't even know that an Alabama team that we saw this year would have been that. I mean, it would have clearly been closer, but I certainly think that it would favor Georgia.
Yeah, I just, the whole feel of this is really odd. I'm looking back, by the way, since 2014. We bitched about the semis not being close, right? And they were. The semis were incredible. But I'll give you where the championships went. Because maybe what I'm feeling isn't that unique. Because I have weird vibes here. I'm going to be drinking through them. So 2014, Ohio State 42, Oregon 20. 2015, Alabama 45, Clemson 40. Amazing game. That was in Glendale. Clemson 35, Alabama 31 the following year. Again, amazing games. Alabama 26, Georgia 23. So you had 3 years in a row of just bangers. Then Clemson 44, Alabama 16. LSU 42, Clemson 25. Alabama 52, Ohio State 24. Gross. Georgia 33, Alabama 18. That was last year, which was kind of close for a while and then not. And then 65 to 7. But this one was one of the least competitive, probably the least competitive football game I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, maybe at any level. Like, I was thinking about this page. I went and watched Bijan Robinson play a high school game. I think it was like 38-0 at halftime. Mm-hmm. It was more of a fight than this. Yeah. This was one of we read I think it was, who tweeted it? The largest bowl deficit. Forget about championship. Largest bowl ever. And so I will say it's not about us, but like it's a really odd dynamic. You put a lot into the season emotionally. People are listening to this. They love their team. They love their sport. And then it's happening and you're almost like, I'm still kind of speechless. Like what the fuck just happened to the college football season? Like what by the end of it, by the way. So let's talk about the stadium. SoFi, incredible.
SoFi is
incredible.
so cool.
However, it's pouring in California.
Yeah, there's like a storm. As the resident Californian here, like, this is a weird weather situation. We don't get rain like this. It is very strange. And we were getting like flash flood warnings while we were in the stadium. And also it was raining because it's like not fully
I didn't know that, by
closed.
the way.
It was raining. You could see it if you look to the left.
No, but like I didn't know that today. That the SoFi is not a dome. There's just open. Like a giant fucking tent over it. So the rain is just pouring in. The rain was
coming down. Georgia fans were loving it. If you were a TCU fan, you were out of there. By the way, literally by the fourth quarter, most of TCU's sections were sparse.
I can't blame them for that. They actually held in longer than I would have.
Imagine spending thousands of dollars to come to this game and just having and just that sort of performance.
That level of shit. I mean, that was brutal. And that's the other thing is like, look, I can't say this because I wasn't playing in that game, but it felt like they gave up very, very early. It was like a done. I agree.
The energy just was toast.
They were punting, they were running,
that first punt when it was like, I think it was like 4th and 6. And it's like, you're already down by a lot. I know it's really close to your own end zone, but still.
You know, the other thing this week, right? Like, so one of the takeaways, like I told you, I wrote about Max Duggan. I actually didn't really appreciate Max Duggan's full story until this week. And it's incredible when you read about what he's been through, like him, like it's a great story. Sonny Dykes all week, an incredible listen, really cool guy, open, answering cool questions. Yes.
Major takeaway from this week was that like Sonny Dykes.
Oh, I thought someone was at your door. You were looking over at your door. I was like,
I'm like, oh God, someone's here.
Go Dogs.
Oh God, probably. You know what? And I have to say, I'm happy for Georgia fans.
But actually, real quick, to tie a bow on this, TCU was this really amazing, made for fucking movie, like a Hollywood script. And I'm writing about this a little bit. And sometimes that really good story, it ends violently.
It's
horribly.
Not Hollywood. This is a reality check.
This
was a reality check. It really was.
Windshield. And it's sad because it is what this is going to do though, Paige. And we did it last year with Cincinnati against Alabama. And I think it's really interesting with the expanded college football playoff. We'll talk about this in future weeks, but like you're going to see but you're going to see more games like this. You're going to see you're going to open up the field. And so the likelihood of a TCU getting to this point, which you think is really good, and it is really good, is going to create a situation where a team like Georgia, who's better literally at every position, just fucking mauls them like a bear.
Deep.
I mean,
even their second string was.
Oh yeah, no. By the way, the one of the lasting takeaways, Branson Robinson, who is a freshman at Georgia, tailback, who by the way is like a power lifter. If you see him, he's built like the Incredible Hulk, like just running with Georgia up 55 points, like scoring a touchdown, like a freshman. That's very Bama-like, right? Like a true freshman who looks like he's 28 years old. Like like
they're big.
They are. They're huge. I thought Georgia would win comfortably. You can't say anyone predicted this. This was.
I mean, you said murder ball, and this was murder ball. I did say that I feel like this game should be called the Red Wedding of college.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
It was.
It was a fucking beatdown.
It was brutal, but we do have to tell the people how our exit to the stadium went. So we told you it's pouring rain. Okay.
Not great.
It's still kind of a trek to get to the media buses. And
not a great setup.
We legitimately were like trying to walk super fast. By the way, I was wearing heels. And trying to walk super fast. It's pouring rain. The wind is actually pretty bad. And we went to get on one media bus. The other guy was like, one guy directed traffic was like, no, you want to get on that one. Otherwise, you're going to be here for 4 hours. By the time we got to the bus, we were like panting and like sweating, but you're covered in rain. And it just was very emotional. It was a lot.
It was really depressing. I really struggle like for the next couple of weeks trying to figure out what to do. And but normally you come off a high and you're like, wow, And it was a great season, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
This shouldn't take away from it. It was a great season. It was a fun season, personally, professionally, all of it.
Yeah.
But like, you travel across the country and witness a football murder.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's tough for you. I didn't really travel that far.
No, and I don't mind the travel, but like you put so much emotion
effort. Yeah,
into
there's just
it.
so much effort, especially into this weekend. It's such a big deal and a to do, and you know what? It's so fun. Like, we're so lucky that we get to do it every year.
Oh my god!
And I think
the lead up is wonderful.
Yeah, and I think it was funny. You and I both were on the bus. We're getting off the bus to come in. We're like kind of chatting about our like plan to come record the pod. And I looked at you and I was like, I kind of feel like I could like cry, like not in like a sad way, but like a relief, like of like happiness, but also just like not sadness that it's over because it's a long season, but like relief. Really, what it is just like, okay, we did it, and but then it's over, and you're like, but it's over.
All over.
Like, you're happy it's over, but sad it's over. It's just a lot of emotions. I was like, honestly, I might cry. I might cry on the pod.
I felt that way in the stadium. I'm trying to write, and I'm so distracted at just the result that I can't like immerse myself in writing. Yeah. Like, it was really odd. Again, like, I've not experienced something like that. And it's funny, I'm getting texts from my buddies and they're like, what is this like to watch in person? Like, this is terrible. Like, it really was strange. I wonder if everybody watched that game in its entirety. I'm
actually really curious to see what. Yeah, I'm curious what the engagement was and the numbers on it were.
I'm very curious to see that too, because you just don't. I don't know. Like, even Media Day felt a little quiet, and the buzz leading up to it felt whether that's TCU being involved, I don't know, but the whole thing felt a little quiet, and then extremely loud, like robust loud, like holy shit. I don't know. Like,
I think too, like, you expect it with Alabama usually when this stuff happens, and I think we're still kind of all getting used to, not that we doubt them, but we're getting used to Georgia being that team now.
Yes.
It's just, it's different. It's not bad in any way, and I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to talk, what do they say? You got to get back in the weight room, watch some tape, you know. I got to get back in the weight room. I need to buff up on some tape on Georgia, because I thought that TCU was actually going to be able to compete with them. So I'm going to really take this off season to get better, guys.
What's wild about Georgia too, when you watch them, okay, there are stars. Brock Bowers was a star tonight, and they used him like a star. He didn't have like any catches against Ohio State. He ran the ball. I don't know what his yardage was. He was over 100 yards in the first half. And what I do like, what we don't get to see when you're in the press box, you could see it differently. There was a play, like his first catch, where I like nudged you. I'm like, oh my god, he's in the slot, and then boom.
It literally was like, we both went, oh, and it happened.
And you could just see it. So they do have that dude is a star. But the thing that they mix, I had McIntosh over yardage, which I didn't cash, by the way. I had Georgia. I had a bunch of props. Like, didn't do great. Georgia bet.
Duggan,
okay.
yeah.
Funny Dan Mullen story I could tell in a second. But what's wild about Georgia is they're just like subbing dudes in, like, all over the place. And
they brought in like a whole new defensive line. I was like, what is happening?
And
like,
running
TCU
backs
is just trying, and they're just. It's basically like the Monstars. Like, it was.
No, it is. Like, at running back, they're subbing in a new guy every other play, depending on what they want to do.
Yeah.
And you've got wide receivers by committee, and they've got really good play.
The
depth.
That's what struck me as like, oh my, especially like, yeah, that's just wild.
It is.
Like, the depth was just incredible.
So I could tell the Mullen story now.
Yeah, that was so funny.
So we're on the field before the game, which was really cool and a lot of fun.
Yes.
And we're just like sizing things up. Lincoln Riley, influencers.
No Alex Earl.
No Alex Earl. But like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Got to talk to Golick for a little bit. Like, we ran into a bunch of folks. It was fun. And people are barking, of course. and I'm trying to get my props in, okay? And I'm sitting on the field, and I'm like trying.
Adam's like on his phone.
I'm like time's running out. I'm getting nervous. And like this fucking guy's just crowding me.
Like literally, okay, so like it can get crowded on the sidelines, but like there was like plenty of space, and legitimately you like looked up at him, like he invaded your personal space, like his back was up against your like. It was phone.
So weird. I was
and it was very weird, and you like looked up, and I like looked at you because I knew who it was, and then for your face, and it's Dan Mullen, just like. Not even caring that you just like up against Adam. And Adam was like trying to just put his bets in, and his face was just so priceless.
I don't know Dan Mullen, obviously. Otherwise, but it was weird. He was like right inadvertently in my face.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
But it was funny because I'm like feverishly doing it, and I look up and I'm like, the fuck? Hey, Dan Mullen. Like, you know, so it was, yeah.
We do have to tell the people that we kind of did miss an opportunity tonight. We did not capitalize on the opportunity that Lincoln Riley was literally standing 2 feet behind us. And we could have asked him about, you know, how many bottles of wine does the wine cellar actually hold? Was it reported properly? And also, do you need us to do some research with you on those bottles of wine?
Yes.
But he was on sideline, obviously, because his brother coaches for TCU. And
taller than I thought. I don't know if I've ever met, I don't think I've met Lincoln Riley. He's pretty tall.
He is pretty tall. He's taller than like most, I mean, he's definitely taller than like Nick.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, it's not hard to do, but yeah, he is pretty tall.
He stood out. He stood out there. Just seeing Will Muschamp, like two-time national champion Will Muschamp peruse around. It is always weird. And then the other takeaways I had in terms of size, not Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington.
I
have not seen in years. That man remains mammoth. I'm glad he got to play tonight. That was cool to see. I know he wasn't 100%, but still pretty cool. Considering where his story got him, and now he's off to the draft, you assume. So it's it's fun. Like, we talked through a lot of this stuff, right? We leave with like this kind of bitter, sweet end, and yet it is like you can't beat that moment like 45 minutes before a game, where you're out there and you're like you're sizing up the emotion. It felt very big then when we were down there.
Yeah, it's like such a weird feeling because like I'd almost get like butterflies down there because I'm just like so happy. Like, I love this sport so much, and we work really hard all year long to produce content, whether it be for this podcast or for Bleacher Report. And this year specifically, we've done so much. It feels weird that it's kind of over right now.
Yeah, it does.
It's like kind of shocking, especially too because the other thing is normally these games kick off at like 8 p.m. local time. This one was at 4:30 local time, so we're done so much earlier than we normally are with work. That's basically why we're able to record this podcast right now, because we are able to be done, and it's strange. A lot of this year has been strange.
Would you like to know? We're not going to break these down, but would you like to know what odds are for it to win the next year's national championship?
I would say Georgia's probably favored.
Correct.
Then Alabama.
Correct.
Then Ohio State.
Correct. Wow.
And then, well, I think my sensor light just went off in my room.
I thought somebody was knocking on my door. I was just fucking being.
Okay, wait, those are the top three.
Yeah, you're on a
4,
roll.
though?
It's from DraftKings, by the way.
I don't think it'll be Michigan because of the fact that... Is it Michigan?
It is Michigan.
Because I don't know. The Harbaugh situation, I don't know. So I didn't know. So it is Michigan.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's pretty good. Honestly, I would not have had that. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. We're in.
Okay, so...
It gets we
got Georgia, Alabama...
Ohio
Michigan.
State and Michigan. By the way, those odds, plus 275 Georgia, Alabama plus 500, Ohio State plus 800, Michigan plus 1,000.
Then, did people do USC again?
They did. This is very impressive. USC is tied for 5th with another team.
Another team.
You can get this one, I think. Most of these you kind of understand.
Is it an SEC team?
It is not.
Is it Clemson?
It is Clemson.
Man, y'all are so predictable.
This is so 14-1 is USC and Clemson. I can give you the rest, unless you want to keep going.
Clemson. We'll keep going until I miss it.
Now I think it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Is the next one LSU?
Oh my god, damn! It is.
I knew it. That was gonna be my guess. That's why I asked them an SEC team.
18-1.
LSU. Okay, hold on. This is like the heater of all
heaters. This is a heater. This is your Stetson.
Let's see. After LSU,
this is my fucking light just went off now.
Yeah, it's a sensor light.
I'm gonna be doing this shit in the
dark because you didn't pack a ring light.
Yeah.
Sorry.
SEC team. I'll help you out here because you're on a roll.
SEC team.
Uh-huh.
So we've already got.
You got LSU,
Georgia, Alabama, LSU.
I'm a little surprised by
Not
this.
Ole Miss.
Not Ole Miss. They were pretty good this year. A municipal
Oh, Tennessee. That was stupid. Tennessee.
Yeah, but that's not a weird one.
That was a good heater though. That was pretty impressive. We got deep into the odds. Where's Utah and where's Washington?
All right, so Florida State also 20-1. They're going to be a buzz team. Texas 22, Notre Dame 25, Penn State 28, and then you get to Oregon 30, Utah 40, Washington 40. And then you have A&M, Oklahoma, Wisconsin. TCU is 60-1. I saw some Heisman odds out there, but I can't find them.
Brock Bowers.
All right, now I got to find him. What do you think Brock is on the Heisman board?
No, but I was saying that because you want him to be on the Heisman board.
I do. Now I gotta find him.
Also, we have to say I did have a moment. Brock Bowers, there's a picture. Our friend Stuart Mandel from The Athletic posted this picture of Brock Bowers at Media Day. And he's not in pads or anything, and he gives me what's his name? Now I'm blanking. Hold on. He gives me why am I blanking on his name? Clemson wide receiver. Hunter Renfrow vibes. Hunter Renfrow vibes. He literally gives me Hunter Renfrow vibes, especially because like that was the knock on Hunter was that like he always was like small and like nerdy looking. That's like legitimately Brock Bowers and Hunter Renfrow are like one is far superior of an athlete. But
by the way, I don't know whose Heisman odds. Arch Manning is on here at the very bottom.
Well, of course.
Now, what is fascinating is Georgia's starting quarterback next year is probably going to be Brock Vandagriff, who we watched in pregame, who's a big dude, by the way, 5-star kid. Brock to Brock. Fuck me. We're going to have Brock throwing to Brock? That's got to be a first in the history of football.
Brock to Brock.
Brock to Brock.
Hey, they just went Brock to Brock.
Brock to Brock. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What was the joke I made in the
I don't know. It took me a minute.
It was bad. Oh, yeah, we were talking about angles, and I was like, Kirby's pretty smart.
Oh, yeah. And then I you're just standing there like, acknowledge it.
And you were like, oh, God. But
would you like to do the Heisman odds game? Just a quick one, since you're on a heater. You're on a heater. I think you should test your luck for just one more run.
Okay.
And I think early on you can handle. You're gonna dominate.
Caleb.
Yes, 4-1. Caleb Williams.
Favorite.
Caleb.
Favorite.
Williams.
Caleb. Oh, I don't know.
You do know. I think you'll know. There's not an Alabama quarterback on here, by the way. You think it's a quarterback, and he's very good. Very, very good.
Why
not maybe not at a team that you just mentioned. He wears baby blue. That's way too shitty of it.
Oh, Drake May. That was stupid.
Yes.
Um,
And then it's your conference for a smidge, which I think is wild, by the way. Like, it's a very interesting odds here.
not Bo.
Bo is he's tied for third.
Bo
Nix
Nix.
is 12 to 1. I know. I'm so excited.
I'm never putting money on Bo Nix to win the Heisman ever again.
We'll get there. We got like fucking 8 months to get. We will figure this out.
They got Penix Jr. on there?
Penix is there too. And then tied with them is Jordan Travis of Florida State, who is going to be very buzzy.
Okay.
Quinn Ewers, 18 to 1. Sam Hartman, Notre Dame, 18 to 1.
Sam Hartman.
Drew Aller of Penn State, I think he's going to be pretty buzzy. Talented dude, 20 to 1. Jaden Daniels, 20 to 1. Joe Milton of Tennessee, 20 to 1. And then there's Brock Vandegrift, 20 to 1. Cade Klubnik, 20 to 1. McCarthy, man. How about Blake Corum on here at 40 to 1? I mean, I know we got to talk championship, but Blake Corum coming back, Cam Rising coming back, NIL, baby.
NIL is keeping kids in school, guys. And you said paying the players would be bad.
No, paying the players is great. Okay, so how much? We're almost done. We can almost be done.
There's chaos going on outside.
I hear that. I don't know.
I don't know if it's like a police escort for something, but
we chose wisely on our.
We got out of there quick.
All right, so let's talk. We have like weeks to recap, but like, what was your favorite moment of this season? Did you have like a moment? What was your like favorite moment?
This is gonna sound weird coming from me, but probably when Tennessee beat Alabama.
That was pretty cool.
Because that was crazy. I did enjoy TCU beating Michigan. I also enjoyed watching TCU all season because it was like much like that Michigan game. It was like just complete chaos most of the year. I enjoyed TCU's rise. I did not enjoy their fall here. That was brutal.
That was brutal.
But yeah, I would say Tennessee. I think it's such a tortured fan base that I kind of, which is weird because I just never would have thought that. But I feel like after, years of a lot of like weird rumors.
Oh yeah.
Lane stuff, all kinds of things, like just all kinds of chaos. I genuinely was like happy for that fan base. Hendon Hooker, excellent football player, good person, friend of the municipal group. That was certain. I think those things were like the highlights for me. But what about you?
Does Georgia, Oregon feel like it was fucking 2 years ago?
Hey, it's the season. I think Brad Shepard wrote this in our winners and losers. The season started the way that ended the way that it started, with Georgia just absolutely obliterating somebody.
I just like, it almost feels like a different year.
It does. But what were your highlights of this year?
Alabama, Texas was fun. I don't know what it told us, but like that game was wild and it was weird and it was just like it had such a strange.
What had such hype to it, and like thinking about it now, like it really didn't.
But it was cool. Like that's sort of my favorite thing throughout the college football season is like you have all these chapters, and you don't know what the fuck any of it means. Like Tennessee beating Alabama was like larger than life.
Yeah. And
in the end, it's gonna sting for both of them. Like both of their seasons are gonna be kind of odd, right? Like,
yeah,
I wonder what Alabama fans feel today.
So I was telling you, it was kind of annoying me that people were like, "Oh, this proves that Alabama should have been in." Okay, well, I get that Alabama is probably in a head-to-head beats TCU, is superior. We get it. I think ultimately Georgia is going to win this year, no matter what. But I think as Alabama fans, like, you should be a little bit worried. It's not going to be as easy. That's what I say. You shouldn't be worried. You should just know that it's just not going to be easy ever again.
Oh,
it's not going to be the same as it was, where you're just obliterating everybody, murder ball, end of the era.
Did you see Georgia's football schedule for next year being passed around? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's not good, buddy. It's not good. Week 1, UT Martin, the Skyhawks, The fuck's a skyhawk? Bird of some kind. The Ball State Cardinals, also a bird. The South Carolina Gamecocks, we are bird heavy in the first month of college football, apparently. UAB, at Auburn, Kentucky, at Vandy, bye week, versus Florida, versus Missouri, versus Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Georgia Tech. That's shitty. Like, I mean, that's a fucking terrible football schedule.
Yeah. I mean, it pays off to not...
You play at Tennessee and you play at Auburn. This is like, if you want to do the
it's optimal for them.
It is, but I saw people tweeting this and I'm like, oh my God, this out of conference sucks. Like, again, I'm not even hating. Georgia has stepped up and played people out of conference, but like, they need to get rid of divisions.
The Pac-12.
Well, they're...
Does that
like,
count?
No, but like,
I'm kidding,
how bad is that?
Yeah.
I mean, that is like, and I gotta look through the draft. They're gonna lose some pieces. Obviously, Jalen Carter. They're gonna lose Stetson finally. Did you see Kirby's son was crying because Stetson is leaving?
Oh, that's so
and
sweet.
Kirby said, "Hey man, he's 25. He's got to go." Like, it sounded funny. I'm excited to see this in the transcripts, but it's And then I'm looking at Alabama's schedule. Alabama plays Texas again next year, but at Tuscaloosa. They play at A&M. They play Arkansas. I'm sure Arkansas' schedule is terrible.
Yeah, poor Arkansas is probably just getting obliterated.
They play LSU. They play at Auburn. They play at Kentucky. Alabama's schedule doesn't look that bad either, but it's certainly worse than Georgia's. Like Georgia, yeah, Georgia's in a position to do this thing again. Like obviously, that's not even a take. That's just the reality.
So I will say this. I said before that Georgia's always going to have to hear about, Alabama's done it before. If you go back to back to back, you don't have to hear about Alabama ever again, and you paved the way, and it's a new deal. New lease on life. You don't have to worry about chasing other history. You get to call yourselves the king of college football.
Yeah, and it's I think Georgia is, I don't know if you're a Georgia, like with Alabama, it was always like the next thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like Georgia's just on this weird wave of dominance where they're like, okay, cool.
Well, and I know like we talked about this, how like it's been all weird. Like maybe we're not appreciating it in the moment, how dominant this, like, because we've had Alabama, so it's like, but to have another team do that, go back to back,
it's crazy.
Like, it is crazy, and it's hard to do. As much as we say their schedule sucks, like, it's hard to do. It's still, like, when you have guys leaving, like, that's the big thing with, like, Alabama every year. Like, oh, can they reload and, replace the guys that come in or leave for the NFL? And transfer portal now makes it even harder. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how next year unfolds, and if they're certainly going to be in the conversation.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's weird to think about, but it's like, I'm sure Kirby's going to get a raise now, by the way.
Yeah. Get that money.
He's going to get a raise, and then Nick will get a raise too. That's how it's going to go. But you asked me like what my favorite memory. Honestly, the semis were spectacular. The semis were really cool. I would say that, like that, I don't know, 7 hours of football, which we have never had, was so unique. Mm-hmm. I have to say, like, I don't know what Ryan Day is doing right now, but the dude's got to be sick to his stomach. And this is how fucked up this sport is, and like the people that narrate it. Like Ryan Day is like a timeout, like one non-taken timeout away from probably a national championship.
Missed field goal.
Changing his legacy, being all of it. A missed field goal. There you go. Even more. A really bad one.
Missed field goal away from being national champions.
From national champions. Not to shit on TCU, but Ohio State beats TCU, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty emphatically.
If you beat that Georgia team.
So like they almost and should have beat the team that just won 65-7.
Game of inches.
It is. Except if you're that kicker. It's a game of like a fucking 3 full goalposts, because that's how bad that kick was. That was so bad.
know.
I'm sorry.
But like you said, like, but that's, and so, I mean, credit to Kirby Smart here, because, look, there are plenty of coaches that have talent. Plenty.
Yeah.
That have the money behind them, that have the roster, and can't do it. Like, that timeout was one of the best displays of how good of a coach he actually is. Because that legitimately saved that game for them. Because they would have gotten the first down on the fake punt. Like,
yes. And you have to be lucky, by the way.
What?
Being lucky is a part of this.
Yeah, but also just making those decisions and having the experience to do that. Because also, like, he did coach under the best still.
Oh, yeah. No.
Who, by the way, looked fantastic in the blue suit.
He did.
I love Nick.
He did. Nick looked good. He was great on TV.
And he also didn't strangle Pollock for saying what he said. I mean.
Well, and I saw Pollock retweeted the video, and he's like, I'm just speaking the truth. And I don't think Pollock is wrong. I just think I would never say that in front of Nick Saban like that.
I'm not bold enough to do that.
I forgot Pollock's a Georgia guy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to go back and watch some of the Saban and McAfee stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't get to see some of that. We saw the weird part about being at the games is like you miss some of the like Twitter fun because you don't know what's going on the broadcast or what everyone's saying. By the way, broadcast is very delayed.
Oh yeah.
Way ahead of
oh
y'all.
My god, it's terrible. Like
Kramer.
What?
TCU did tweet out a final score.
Oh boy.
No graphic, just final score. UGA 65. TCU.
Did you see
7.
Georgia's
Hypnotoad?
Oh my god.
Dyke said this is a learning experience and they want to make sure it doesn't happen again.
It's tough. I don't think it's going to happen again for a while because I don't think TCU is going to be in that position. That's why this shit, you got to enjoy it. If you're a TCU fan tonight, you should enjoy the shit out of this. Like, not that. That was dreadful. Wash that from your brain. But everything that led to this point, is it worth it? Yeah. I saw people, like with the NFL playoffs, talking like, would you rather have just missed the playoffs or get the number 1 overall pick? Now, the journey's fun. The journey is really cool. Like, the journey to reach this point is always, it's worth it. So if you're a TCU fan, like, it hurts like shit, I would imagine. But what?
Sorry, it's another tweet, and I'm just catching up on Twitter. This is in game though. It says it's so good that Stetson Bennett is putting on a show and maximizing that NIL money before he gets kicked off his parents' insurance this year.
Is he really 25 years old?
Yeah. Remember there was like age 25 years old. When's his birthday? He, by the way, is small.
He's tiny.
October 29th.
See his haircut too, by the way?
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good change of look, I think, for him. I
gotta tell you, what a fun year though. We did have fun. Like, it was.
We did.
You know, like there's like you probably don't know this, but there's like a TikTok saying it's like, well, it was fun while it lasted. Cause like, that's like the, a sound of college football. Cause it's fun while it lasts. And then when you get to the end and you're like, oh man, it's the same thing we're kind of used to, but it's still great. It's still the best.
No,
I mean,
it is great. It's the best sport. Tonight was weird. But
we're happy. Like, we are, like, it's weird because I think we're just sad the season's over. And, like, that's how it ended.
Oh, that's absolutely why I'm sad. I'm Georgia, like, that's the way it goes. Like, I wanted a great game. Well, I wanted to be right. We were both right, and we were both wrong. It's very anticlimactic. Like, you know, it's like, okay. And
if
mostly
Ohio
sad.
State was in this, we would have both been right. We would have been.
Well, I'm mostly sad.
We were one field goal away. Gold.
Yeah,
Jeez,
from the future bets.
From just being right. Yes, future bets, but
there are no college football games until.
Nope, I don't want to hear it. We're gonna end on a high. All right.
Yeah, I gotta go right.
We're gonna give a little cheers.
Cheers. Great season, fun season. So here's the pod plan, by the way. So we are. This is this week's episode.
I like how you're dropping it on me right now. What are we doing?
We're not recording another episode this week. We're gonna let this one.
We're gonna let this one marinate.
Marinate. We're
gonna give ourselves some time.
Well, that's it. So we will be back the following week to record I'm sure more of this, and hopefully I'll have my thoughts together by then. And then onwards. Time to make some content.
Time to make some content.
But in the meantime, we have to go.
Speaking of content, I'm gonna get a little
cheers.
A little cheers here for the end.
We should at the hospitality room.
Can you smile for?
I'm sorry.
Picture?
I'm sorry.
You're just trying to. I know you're trying to close the pod, but
I'm trying to talk about fucking bacon. Smiling. But so at the hospitality room, there is a stand of bacon. They have bacon literally hanging from the rafters, covered in chocolate.
Yes,
all sorts
I had
of
one. I
bacon.
grabbed one on the way out.
So I'm gonna finish this story. Are you heading down right now?
No, I'm gonna take a few
pictures or minutes.
Pictures. Just by the way, this weekend, funniest things that I got. I have content for the next episode that I won't disclose right now. But I found out a lot about Kramer this week, about his nerd level.
All right. I know these things. You're like, okay. Scared me. You were like, I talked to some people. And you are
I got some
fucked up.
dirt.
Yeah.
But thank you guys who listen to this regularly, especially our Georgia fans who put up with the fact that we shit on Georgia. And
what do you mean we shit on Georgia?
I mean me. I shit on Georgia. I was trying to make it a mutual thing, okay? Strength in numbers, as they say.
No, you make predictions. That's not shitting on. That's
but
that's the way it goes.
It was fun, and thanks to you for making it fun. I'm glad we get to do this all the time.
I am too. This was a blast. Now we're gonna go get drunk and eat bacon, and y'all
and sleep.
Cheer, yeah, that too. Cheers to college football. Cheers to y'all. We will talk to you guys next week.